Welcome to CEO Insights Asia Executive Series, Principles of Scaling. Welcome to CEO Insights Asia Executive Series, Principles of Scaling. Is the strongest enterprise are those that constantly evolve. It's no longer the game of how big you are, but now the game is how big your ecosystem is.
Now, but I think this really speaks volume why we're attracted to hang out with one another. Like for example, in CEO Insights Asia, I really like spending time there because I'm surrounded with like-minded people. So,
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to CEO Insights Asia Executive Series Principles of Scaling. Today's topic is getting started. I am your host for today, Mel Medrano, Chief Visionary Officer of Gramworth Enterprises Incorporated. We are the proud product owner of Foligo All-Purpose Prebiotic Powder. Okay. So for today, as our topic getting started, the key objective of today's webcast is to install 3 basic building blocks of execution. Well, it's easier said than done. I'm so sure about that. But before we proceed, let me just give you a quick reminder as to why we do this every Friday at 10 a.m. It's because we want to install DNA principles that scale organization. I kid you not, we do this every Friday at 10 a.m. May it be Friday the 13th, just like now, or Good Friday, nandito pa rin kami, we will do this, and we will keep on doing this. So see you and join us. So for all the participants here at Zoom, we have 9,000 participants here. And those who are on Facebook, we are encouraging you to join us here on Zoom for more interaction and for you to gain. This is our objective, for you to gain at least one insight that you can immediately apply and execute on your day-to-day operations within your organization. So, diba, it has to be done every Friday, 10 a.m. So, join kayo lagi. The theme for this month is execution, focusing on purpose, principles, practices, and people. Because we aim, again, to install DNA principles that scale organization. Let's have an overview of the topics that we're going to have for this month. Masyadong mainit ang topics ngayong buwan na to, parang summer talaga. Summer na summer. So last week, we talked about getting to work. I can't help but share an insight of what was discussed last week. We're in execution, or what execution is not, were defined. Again, I will just quick reminder or recap. Execution is not intention, decision, nor action. It's simply getting results. Okay. And then today, we're going to talk about getting started. I have a very, very quick personal sharing here later. So about this. And then next week, getting synergies. And then last week of May, we're going to talk about getting shit done. So, okay, before we proceed, let's have a few announcements. Aside from this principles of scaling, every Friday, again, at 10 a.m., we also have circle meetings happening every Tuesday at 11 a.m. This is a personal favorite of mine. Una, hindi po ito recorded, so hindi niyo siya mababalikan. Kaya mag-join kayo ng circle meeting. And here we always exchange ideas and principles and practices, real life practices among CEOs and business leaders, among everyone that you can actually immediately apply also on your everyday operations. This week we're highlighting Felix Cabo of Mercado PH. He and together with the other circle builder multipliers, we conduct circle meetings every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Please do sign up on the link provided that will be provided here, and also it is posted on the Facebook page to join the circle meeting. And to know more about circle meetings and their experiences, here let's watch this video.
Execute sa mga tasks to gain result. This platform helps me to operate my team with excellence and in system. You will actually gain more learnings from other mistakes, and CEO circles will infuse you with ideas that can build long-lasting companies. To all the people watching this, if you want to learn and experience what I am experiencing right now, please join Principles of Scaling every Friday at 10 a.m. And most importantly, please sign up for CEO Circles. See you every Tuesday at 11 a.m.
Okay, another thing that we also do here is multiplier mastermind. So later, we're going to have at 4 p.m. We move it a little bit. We're going to have multiplier mastermind with Coach R.D. Morales of We Trading. So there. Okay. So before we start, allow me to introduce our faculty for today. He is the co-founder and executive advisor of CEOInsight Asia, Mr. Florentino A. Hernando. We fondly call him by his initials, FAH or Sir Fa. And maybe the best way to introduce him or to say who he is that he is the executive advisor. May iba pa ba? Wala na pong iba. Okay, so on a personal note, yung sinabi ko kanina that I want to share something very personal about this topic and about Sir Fat to build, just to let you know, just to give an exclamation point to his credentials. I'm talking about being our faculty for today is he is a person who only knows one deadline, and that was yesterday. Okay, so without, I guess that sums up his credentials on talking about execution and getting started. So, Sir Pat, take it away.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, Miss Mel, Chief Visionary Officer of Gramworth. I am right now here sa Sellers Hub. Shout out sa Sellers Hub team. Talagang inampon na nila ako. Ganda ng office dito. So, mamaya, i-reiterate ko lang, meron tayong multiplier mastermind at office blessing for We Trade, si Coach RD. So, thank you so much. Sellers Hub team na pinuyat tayo kagabi at nandito tayo ngayon uli alas 10 ng umaga to do this. Okay, so huwag na natin patagalin. Getting started. To formally introduce myself, my name is Pa, it was mentioned, and I'm one of the founders and executive advisor of CEOInsight Asia And our purpose here in this ecosystem is infusing ideas that build lasting companies. Ang endgame natin dito, why we're here, is we want to build our company into something that we can transfer to our children and our children's children and the coming generations. Yes, shout out, nandito si Miss Vanessa de la Cruz. Ayan, kaka-chat natin yan, no? Nahihiya daw siya, excited mamaya. At saka si Christian, yan, mga excited umattend ng mastermind mamaya sa WeTrade, no? So medyo nag-adjust na tayo ng konti, 4 p.m. Anyway, so in the event, just want to reiterate, if the event na hindi nyo ito mapanood, no problem. You can watch the replay sa ating Facebook page, sa ating YouTube channel, or if you're too busy, you can listen to Spotify. Nandyan si Keril ang nag-convert nito and nagiging MP3 pa ba? O podcast. Ayan. Sorry, no? MP3, no? Old school. Okay, so, huwag na natin patagalin. Agendas, ano ba mga pag-uusapan natin in the coming hour? Okay, first, syempre, we want to engage with the conversation starter. Gusto kong marinig ang insights nyo, kung ano ba ang ideas natin tungkol sa execution. And then we'll do a very quick recap kasi last week's session served as a platform for our topic today. So gusto kong ma-recap natin ito, okay? And then we'll do an observation from the front lines kasi I was here, as mentioned, I was here at Sellers Hub last night and we had an intensive execution session. And I realized na for me, execution is second nature. It's like breathing sa akin. No? So it's so normal na hindi ko na napapansin na it's not actually normal to a lot of people. It's like I'm a fish in the water. Diba? Fish discovers water last. So I have observed a few things. I'll be adding that mamaya sa ating conversation. And then let's discuss bakit ba nagkakaroon ng breakdown in execution. And then we'll get practical. So, excited na pa kayo? Please chat, I'm excited, para alam ko na nandiyan kayo. Ayan, para naman meron tayong konting engagement mula sa ating mga participants. Maximize natin ang chat box kung hindi man tayo makapag-mute. Ayan, excited si Mr. Christian Mosende. Ayan, sige, thank you. Right, let's get, parating pa lang tayo sa exciting na part. Sabi ni Jobs na hindi nag-circle meeting noong Tuesday. But naintindihan ko naman, gets ka naman yon. Sige. So, moving on. Okay. Kinontrata ko na ang ating kaibigang Oso na kasama natin nung isang araw lang sa ating isang kaibigang Oso na si Steve C. Ma'am Chris, floor is yours. Kindly.
Hello.
Yeah.
Yes, good morning everyone. At ito nga sabi nga ni Miss Mel, pag introvert ka, malalagay ka sa posisyon na makakalimutan mong introvert ka. Okay. So why does breakdown of execution happen? So napareflect din ako dito kasi minsan ang ganda ng plano, nakalatag na yung mga ideas and yung mga tao na kausap mo na i-execute ang isang idea, right? But sometimes things still don't work out. So, napaisip ako anong dahilan bakit nagbe-breakdown ang execution. So, I think the way I see it is first, hindi, ito talaga yung parang pinakaano ko lang, factor ko, communication. Hindi nagkaintindihan yung mga taong nag-usap-usap na ito yung gagawin natin, ito yung output na dapat. So, miscommunication or misalignment. Kahit na gets yung task, hindi sila aligned ano yung definition nung task na kailangang i-fulfill. So, yun lang naman, sir. Yun lang.
Okay, so there was a miscommunication that led to misalignment. That's why breakdown of execution happened. Sige, may I ask for some engagement? Paki-chat nyo. Ano sa tingin nyo lang, hula nyo as we proceed, no? Bakit kaya nagkakaroon ng breakdown ng execution? Kindly chat it down para makita natin kung ano ang iniisip ninyo. Right? For the sake of time, we want, walang parang kagabi pa yan, walang accountability, sabi Princess. Ayan, AAA. Session na session kagabi. Alright, so as we move forward, kindly chat it down. Let's do a quick recap. Ano bang parang ayoko nang umalis dito. Sir, ang sarap mag-session dito. Umiikot-ikot yung upuan natin, no? Ayan. Okay, sige. Salamat, Sir BK, Ma'am Ayen, and Diane for allowing me to enter and use the brightest room sa Sellers Hub. Okay, so quick recap. When we define execution, ito yung discipline. Okay? It's a practice, okay, of doing exactly, paulit-ulit tayo dyan, doing exactly what must be done at the exact quantity. Gaano kadami, dapat eksakto. Walang labis, walang kulang. Okay? On the quantity, and mas critical ito is the time committed. Whether one feels like doing it or not. And sabi ko nga kila BK, kila Dayan, kila Ma'am Ayan kanina, I'm still up, yung taas pa rin ng dugo ko from the engagement last night sa Sellers Hub dito na sabi ko mag-spill over yung mga sasabihin ko sa principles of scaling. And this is what we talked about yesterday. No? So the discipline of doing exactly what must be done, quantity, at the same time yung timeline. Kasi madalas nakita ko dun sa conversation namin kagabi, paulit-ulit yung sinasabi, wala kasi kaming timeline. Meron kaming discipline, meron kaming coaching, pero walang timeline kung kailan namin dapat gawin ng isang bagay, or umaandar yung timeline. So again, for me, it's like mentioned by Ms. Mel, I only have one timeline. If you ask me something, kailan mo kailangan to? Ang sagot is yesterday. So that's something that we have to embrace as CEOs, as leaders. There has to be always a timeline. At the same time, we do things whether we feel like doing it or not. Do I feel like doing this? Anong oras kami umuwi? 12:30. Anong oras ako nakatulog? 2:00. Do I feel like doing principles of scaling? I could sleep. Sarap ng kama dun sa Bailey. Ibang pa-hotel ni Sir BK and ni Ma'am Ayan. But we have a job. We have principles of scaling at 10 a.m. And after this, we have a town hall. Magdadrive pa ako papunta kila RD sa kabilang office. And then we'll do a town hall at 1 p.m. And then we'll have a office blessing. And then we'll do masterminds around 30 plus startup founders and CEOs. We'll meet later 8 p.m. onwards. And I came from an intensive session yesterday. But that's what execution is. It's about getting things done because we said we're going to do it. Yes, please type yes if you can relate. So yan. So in short, execution means it's the habit of getting shit done. No excuses, no BS, no drama, no fanfare, just plain old getting things done. That's execution. Yes, okay, medyo intense, no? Sabi sa inyo, papunta pa lang tayo sa exciting part, eh. Ayan, no drama. So, why execution matters? 3 things. Number 1, it makes things happen. Execution is the bridge that helps us, or that connects us from yung current reality at saka dun sa dream natin. If we want something, we dream of something, it's the execution that will connect what is currently what is our current reality to our dream. That's why execution matters. It makes things happen. Second, execution makes things better. No amount of strategic planning, no amount of creative thinking can make things better until we do it. Ba? If it's in our head, it doesn't count. Good intentions, no matter how good, don't count. Only execution matters. Yes? Diba? Medyo nag-iinit na ako, ha? Wala pa tayo sa recap pa lang to. Okay, the third one, execution makes things cheaper. Okay? Kasi pag meron flex tayo, flawless execution, flex, hindi na uulit ng trabaho. Mas mura, di ba? Kasi magpapagod, gagawa kakailanganin ng materyales, oras, tapos palpak. Uulitin natin yun, magastos pag ganun. So execution makes things cheaper. If we do it right the first time, mas less ang cost natin. Please type cheaper para alam kong nandiyan pa kayo. Ayan. There we go. So what execution is not? Binanggit na to kanina ni Ms. Mel. Execution is not intention. Good intentions don't count. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Diba? So execution is not intention. Second, execution is not decision. Just because we decided we'll do something doesn't automatically mean it will happen. Yes? So execution is not decision, and last but not the least, execution is not action. Just because we're doing something does not necessarily mean we're productive. Being busy doesn't necessarily mean we're productive. Activities are not accomplishment. Okay, so what is execution? Once again, execution is results. Plain and simple. Okay. So now, with that, ano yung mga principles na napansin natin sa execution? Number one, execution is boring. Let's give it to that. Mas sexy ang vision casting, strategic planning, creative thinking. Mas sexy yun compared sa execution because repetitive. Okay? But that's why it's a difference maker. So how do we combat pagiging boring na execution? By including progress. Combat boredom with progress, and this is the progress principle, using a performance scorecard. And later we'll talk about that. If we know we're getting better, it engages us even more. The second is execution is what we're paid to do. We're not paid to give our best work. That's not what our best effort. Okay, we applaud effort, good. Pero hindi naman yun ang binabayaran sa atin eh. Ang binabayaran sa atin, we get the job done. So best effort, good work. I mean, it's not what we're paid to do. Ang binabayaran sa atin is the outcome, not effort. And last but not the least, execution is the leader's job. Kaya nga tayo Chief Executive Officer. Execution. At the end of the day, when something is not happening, that's supposed to be happening, it's a leadership problem. Because it happened under our watch. We can't point fingers. Kasi siya eh. Yung tao ko kasi, hindi ginawa yung trabaho niya. Ang tanong ko, anong gagawin ko? Diba? It's your team. Diba? It's your accountability. Diba? Ikaw ang nag-invite niyan to be part of your team. I didn't make a decision to do that. You did. So it's your, ang tanong, ba't nandiyan pa yan if hindi nag-execute? Yeah. Yes. Kamusta ba? Intense ba? Please type intense. Ayan, learning. Salamat, Christian. Ayan, welcome to CEO Insights Asia. Okay. So the secret to executing as an organization, I've mentioned already, magkasama kami ni Seller Sub. SH is a formal client partner. Miss Mel, We Trade, and I mentioned this last time, our formal engagements, it's worth millions. The contract is in millions. But I will share with you. Ito, binayaran nila to para matutunan to, and I'm sharing it to you for free. Kaya magpasalamat tayo sa Sellers Hub, sa MStarNet, because you get to learn this for free. So take note of this, right? So the secret to executing as an organization is 2 words: enforcing accountability. When we say enforcing, hindi natin papakiusap. Pakigawa mo naman yung trabaho mo. It's not gonna fly. Diba? Please, ayusin mo naman yung trabaho mo. It doesn't work that way. Mag-hope tayo. I hope. No. As leaders, as CEOs, we enforce. This is what you said you will do. I expect that you will do that. That's that. We expect the outcome because that's our job. Yes? All right. So, ito yung mga additional observations ko as we move on. 3 things that I've observed from the front lines. Like I mentioned, it's like execution is so natural with me. I forget the feeling na hindi pala normal ito, no? So, number 1, execution is not inspiration. Again, it does not deal with emotion. Hindi ito yung whether feel ko bang gawin ang isang bagay or not. No, execution is because we said we're going to do something, we're going to do it. Regardless of how we feel. So, it's not inspiration. If we wait to be inspired to do something, mamumuti ang mata natin kakahintay. So execution is not inspiration. The second thing, here's what I discovered. Execution is intentional. Talagang we have to be intentional in doing this. We can't, the 3 kinds of people, people who wait for things to happen, wait and see, people who will things to happen. They willed it. They make things happen. And the third is people who wonder what happened. So dun tayo sa second one. We will things to happen. Because, again, principle number 2, it's our job. As CEOs, as leaders, it's our job to get stuff done. That's what we're paid to do. Okay, so those 3 things are additional observations from the front line. The third one is this one. Execution is installation. So we have to be intentional at the same time. We don't get masters of execution after watching this in one day. So that's why it's a habit. It's something that we practice on a regular basis. So it's like a muscle. Hindi to makukuha ng nakinig ako ng principles of scaling dun sa Phantom na lagi nakasuit at kulay pulang necktie. Ngayon magaling na ako mag-execute. It doesn't work that way. The only way to get better in execution is by practicing execution. So it's like a muscle. It gets stronger the more we practice it. So execution is not inspiration. Execution is intentional. We don't wait for things. Pag may mga bagay na hindi nangyayari, maghihintay tayo, wait and see. That's not execution. And the third one is installation. So far so good. Please type yes if you're with me and you still are learning. Yes. Okay. Engage sila. Intense ba? Sorry naman. Alam nyo naman, topic natin to eh. Okay. So, here's the answer to that question kanina, no? Why execution breaks down? And I'm gonna put some facts and figures into this one. Okay? Let's put some data into this one. Harris Paul did a data set. And these are the 4 reasons why execution fails in an organization. Number 1, only 15% know the top priority of the goal. The top priority of the organization, rather. Imagine, 85% of the people inside an organization don't know kung ano yung goal ng company. No wonder, di ba? Kaya walang execution. Why? Why is it this way? Either there's no goal, it's not written down, or there's too many, or the third one, it's pabago-bago, and last, it's often under-communicated. Kagaya ng binanggit ni Ma'am Chris. No? So, there's no goal, there's many goals, so sobrang dami, nakakalito, and pabago-bago, at kadalasan, hindi pa nako-communicate. So, this is one of the reasons why execution breaks down in an organization. Number 2, only 19% are excited about the goal. So why is this the case? Because usually there's no conversation. And when we were having this session last night with the Mancom of Seller Sub, no, we're saying that these targets, there has to be a conversation. We're not saying, ito yan, hit or miss to, bahala kayo sa buhay nyo, sink or swim. No, there has to be a conversation because that creates ownership. So we want to have a conversation. This is the target. How do you feel about it? Tingin mo, kaya natin to? Yes or no? So if not, okay, bakit kaya? Okay, baka masyadong mataas. Diba? So let's have that conversation. So that's how we create ownership. And from the ownership comes passion. Ayan. How about the third one? 49% are of the time spent on pursuing goals. Because na-overcome ng urgent yung important things. Diba? There are 2 different things, the urgent and the important. Those are 2 different things. Usually, the urgent, the important becomes urgent dahil hindi nagawa. Kaya nagiging urgent. Ang nangyayari, firefighting. Diba? At ayaw natin nun, para tayong bombero. Reactive. Diba? Instead of proactive, we're reactive. And last but not the least, 49%. So, over half don't know what to do. They know what the goal is. They're excited about it. They want to spend time pursuing the goals. I just don't know how. Ano ba ang kailangan kong gawin para ma-achieve natin yung goal na gusto natin mangyari as an organization? So, in summary, ito siya. No clear goal. Di malinaw. From the top and even to the front lines. Especially in the front lines. Because the front line impacts, in a very real sense, impact the bottom line. So, there's no clear goal. There's no passion for the goal because there was no conversation. Less time spent on the goal, urgent over important. And last but not the least, no idea what to do. So far, so good. Please type so good if you're with me. Thank you sa coffee cleanse na iniinom natin ngayon. Bumili kayo. Yan, available to sa Shopee at Lazada. Created by Seller Sub. Ayan. May promote! May promote! Ayan. Sige. All right, so here's the summary of everything. And I said this last night, no, sabi ko dun sa Mancom, okay ito session to para bukas pero bibigyan ko na rin ng preview. Confusion is the enemy of execution. And usually, or not, more often than not, if the leader is confused, we should expect the team to be confused as well. Because the team is, kindly complete the sentence, the team is who, kindly complete the sentence, dun sa mga nakakaalam ng phrase na yon, the team is who the leader is. So pag lutang yung leader, lutang ang team for sure. Pag ligaw yung leader, for sure, ligaw yung team. Okay. So, may oras pa ba ako? Ayan, may oras pa ako. 10:30 pa lang. Ayan. So, ano ngayon ang mga ano? Pag nagkaroon ng breakdown, let's be clear. There will be execution breakdown. Kasi we're not perfect. Diba? So, magkakaroon talaga ng, 17,000 na. Kanina, parang 10 lang to. For those 17,000 na ano, at mga sa nanonood sa Facebook, please do join us. Nandyan ang link. Anyway, execution, breakdown in execution happens. It's a routine thing. When you're learning something new, you're pivoting, it will happen. Okay? We're not perfect. So the idea is after umalpak or nagkaroon ng problema, dapat hindi na mauulit 'yon. Okay? So, ano yung mga common responses pag nagkakaroon ng execution breakdown? I'll give you 3. And please don't follow the 2. Okay? So the first one is more effort. Let's try again and again. Okay? Hindi na hit. Bawi kami next time. Nako. Paisa lang. Di ba? Bawi kami next time. Ulitin natin. Okay, try and try. Pero wala namang binago. Di ba? Wala namang binago sa diskarte. Paano yun? Di ba? What's the definition of insanity? It's doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. I mean, that's really insanity, di ba? Parang inulit-ulit mo, tapos parang sana ngayon magbago na yung resulta. Parang GG, di ba? Labo no, di ba? So, this is the common response. Hindi ko na-hit. Mag-effort ulit ako. Without changing something. So, that's not the correct response. The second, at ito yung nagpapainom sa akin ng fish oil kung nanonood si Roel. Salamat sa concern mo. Okay? Roel is the founder and CEO of GFPod Digital Marketing. Yan. The second one is excuses. It's not my fault eh. Kasi si ganito, kasi si ganyan. Yung problema lagi nasa labas. Pare, yan ang pinakamabilis makapagpa-high blood sa akin. Pag kami hindi nangyari. Tapos magdadahilaners. We say that when this happens, ang tawag dyan, hindi execution. Excuse yun. Diba? And here's the thing. We're gonna spend our time and energy in our brain cells trying to come up with an excuse. And it doesn't change anything. Diba? Pag may excuse ba tayo, magbabago ba yung result? No. So it doesn't really matter. So for me, spend that time yung pag-strategize coming up with a new solution to pivot instead of making excuses. So when with my team, si Rodaling Clear, I'm not sure if she's watching. She knows this, If something happened, Karen, for example, we had this one time, and he said, "Sir, no excuses. I made a mistake. It will not happen again." Okay, tapos na. Move on tayo. Kasi, diba, parang what's the point dwelling into something that already happened? We can't change history unless hindi ko na itutuloy yun, diba? We're gonna change history. But you get what I'm saying? Diba? Wala na tayong magagawa ron, tapos na yun eh. So, we spend the brain power natin strategizing to find the next solution or the better solution if something didn't happen according to our plan. So the second one is excuses. That's the fastest way to lose a job when you're working with me. Make excuses. And the third one, the fastest way for me to earn my respect is this one. Embrace it. And then answer this question. What do I need to do differently? Shoot to the roof ang respect ko for people who say, I made a mistake, I'm embracing it, this is what I'm going to do. So that hindi na ito mauulit. And for me, that's the highest compliment you can get from me. If I say, mad respect. Akin sir. Yan, akin to. Tapos na tayo nun. Wala nang problema yon, di ba? Move on na tayo. Just give me your proposal on how we're going to move forward, and that's that. Because mostly kayo nasa e-com. And sa e-com, this is what we learned when we visited Steve C. If you're following me or si BK, we visited Steve C, and I'll share something about that later. But one thing I learned kay Steve C is 6 months is like 6 years in the e-com industry. Sobrang bilis ng e-com. So you have to pivot quickly. I guess no wonder na kaya most of my engagements right now are puro e-com. Kasi, fast-paced. And the way we do executive advisory, you can strategize weekly and pivot regularly. So there, moving on. So we can make more effort. We can make excuses, or we can embrace and pivot. Okay. So those are the three things, the common responses to execution breakdown. Now, I want to touch on what I learned from Ray Dalio. Kilala natin to. If hindi mo kilala si Ray Dalio, pinapakilala ko siya. He wrote a book entitled Principles. And one of the inspiration that I had when I write my ebook of Principles. So this is the 5 pillar of success na alive dito sa Sellers Hub. Everybody knows this here. And we want to share this with you. No? So sabi ni Ray Dalio, the first is establish clear goal. Okay? It's very important that you know what you want. And isa pa sinabi niya ron, don't be concerned about how you look like. Be concerned more about achieving your goal. So first, establish a goal. And then step 2, when you establish a goal and then you do it, you will encounter problems. It's common. Diba? So after encountering those problems, the third step is diagnose. Ano nangyari? Ba't hindi ko na-achieve yung goal ko? And then fourth, after diagnosing, getting the root cause, but the 5 whys, diba? Why ganito? After that, siguro ganito. Okay, why? After getting that, after getting the diagnosis, you design the next steps. And then execute, do it again, which will become the next cycle of growth. Because now after doing it, you've achieved your goal, you'll set your next goal, and then you'll encounter problem. So pag ganun siya, paangat siya. Okay? This is the 5 pillars of success. And number 4 is very critical. I said this last night, diba? And I've said this in the other webcast that we did. The most important move we will ever make is always the next one. Because what happened in the past, it's done. Now present is the reality. We embrace it. And with this current reality, what do we need to do right now to achieve our goal? Yes! Power! Please type power if you're with me. Habang nagsisip ako ng Coffee Cleanse by Sellers Hub. Okay. There. So, getting practical na tayo. Maaga. I still have time. Sulit. Please type sulit if you are enjoying this webcast. Yan. Para alam ko na sulit. Diba? All caps. Yan. Para attend kayo ng mga webcast natin or panoorin niyo yung mga previous episodes natin. Okay, so let's get practical. Okay? How do we install the building blocks of execution in an organization? Sa organization natin, sa inyong mga businesses, sa inyong mga non-profit, sa inyong mga faith-based, whatever the case may be. Okay? So I'll just give you 3 M's. Okay? So the first one is measurements. Create performance scorecards. At alam na alam ni Cristo at ni Miss Mel ito. Dahil ito yung nakaburyong sa kanila. Ang paggawa ng scorecard na according to Miss Mel, ay every executive advisory namin ay para siyang nag-MMA. So we have to create a performance scorecard. And when I ask, why do you think critical ang performance scorecard? It's because you will know how you did a good job. Plain and simple. Diba? Tama nga naman, kung wala tayong performance scorecard, how do we know if we're doing a good job? And not just, a performance scorecard is in each and every role of your organization. Ito ang ginagawa namin. Sa M-Star, sa WeTrade, sa Sellers Hub. This is what we do, designing a scorecard. And let me show you an image of what a performance scorecard looks like para may idea kayo. No? So this is from BTL. This is one of the scorecards I designed. And just a quick overview. Bugbugan sesh pa. Parate. So the role is, this is a performance business analyst for Labor. So naging client partner natin si Labor, and one of our associates became the business performance analyst, and he's under the strategic performance management division. And nakalagay dyan kung yung customers who benefits the most in what he does is internal. Meaning yung hindi siya client-facing, hindi siya outside. No? And nandyan yung summary nung anong role ng business performance analyst. So nakalagay dyan, the business performance analyst purpose is recommending strategic activities that lift department performance to higher levels. Yun ang dahilan ba't nag-exist yung role niya. And the business performance analyst of Labor used to be an associate of mine. His name is Joseph. And I met him, I think, Tuesday. We went out, Alabang Town kami. And we were reflecting on his experience as a business performance analyst. And I asked him, sabi ko, ano sa tingin mo yung ano? And he's now doing different jobs eh. And I asked him, how was your experience with us? Sabi niya, sir, hindi kayo normal. Kasi sabi niya, associate lang ako, pinaharap mo ko sa sa may-ari ng Labor. And I have to advise Labor, the CEO, kung ano yung recommendation based on the data that I have, recommendation on how to improve performance. Sabi ko, exactly, yun nga yung role mo. So my point is, malinaw yung expectation. And he's, parang I think a year na, he's excuse me, no longer connected with us for a year, but it's still clear sa kanya kung ano yung role na gagampanan niya. And here in number, sa main scorecard, nakalagay dyan, business performance analytics. At ito yung expectation sa kanya, provide for business performance analytics report without error on time every month. So, paano malalaman ni business performance analyst that he's doing a good job? Simple lang. Nakapag-provide ba siya ng 4? That's once a week ng business performance analytics na walang error at on time niya na-submit every month. So, yan ang critical role ng report. Tama ba, Alay? Ha? Kaya may mga nasa team ni Alay, mag-submit kayo ng report dahil nasabon yan kagabi. Okay? So, reports are very critical because without data, yes sir, without data, how can we, data is king. Diba? Bulag tayo eh. At alam namin yan dito. Hindi ko na idadagdagan yun. But walang data, bulag eh. Ang hirap magdesisyon. So yun. And then nadyan step by step. Diba? Anong gagawin niya? First, magko-collect ako data. Next is scrub. That's a data analytics term for cleaning data. And then analyze the data. Provide 2 recommended action based on the data gathered. Kasi what's the point of analyzing data without recommendation? Action again, di ba? So ngayon may data ka, o ito yung sinasabi ng performance natin. So anong gagawin natin? Give me recommendation. Okay? And then next is update the department scorecard based on the recommendation. So that's a sample, a snapshot. It's not complete, no? If you want to do this, engage tayo. Ganun kasimple yun, okay? Please pray for me. Kanina pa ako nagpo-promote ng mga kung ano-ano rito. Ayan. Okay, so moving on. Okay, the second one. So create scorecard. The second is manpower. Build capacity and capability. And paulit-ulit to. So now we have a clear scorecard, malinaw na yung goal o yung target ng isang individual. Our job as leaders is to build capacity to help him achieve that goal. So we are the coach. Diba? So meron ka, for example, si Business Performance Analytics, anong pwede nating i-recommend sa kanya para anong pwedeng idea ang pwede natin ibigay sa kanya so that he will do his job in a better manner moving forward. So that's our role as leaders. That's our role as CEO, is to coach the team on an everyday basis. Okay? So we did actually the math last night, no? And given this size, na-realize namin na for a manager to be able to coach his entire team of 8 people, it takes him about 2 hours each. So that's 2 hours. That's, let's say 1 hour each, 8 people, that's 8 hours. That's 1 day in a week. 1 day in a week, na-coach na lahat ng tao niya. But you're working in 6 days. So anong gagawin natin dun sa remaining 5 days? Diba? So we have plenty of time. That's the development time for our teammates. Yan. Sige. So, first one is what? Pakitype nga yung una. Ano yung first M in the building blocks of execution? Ayan. Measurement. Next is manpower. The third is management system. We want to recognize great execution, but the behavior that is rewarded is the behavior that is repeated. Okay? Please jot that down para hindi nyo ma-miss. The behavior that is rewarded is the behavior that is repeated. So we want to constantly reward the behavior we want to see, and we want to reward the behavior we do not want to see with a not good reward para ma-discourage yun. But the point here is we want to reward the behavior we wish to see. Okay, so shut it down. The behavior that is rewarded is the behavior that is repeated. It is not enough, di ba? Sabi nga ng isang kandidato, it is not enough for people, for politicians to want to do good. There must be a system that forces them to be good. It goes the same with us in our organization. It's not enough na good ang intention ng mga staff natin or ng mga workmates natin. There has to be a system, accountability system that forces them to be good. Okay? That forces them to perform. Okay? So this is the third building block of execution. And let me share a sample of what we do here sa circle meeting. Kaya nasabi kong hindi nag-circle meeting si Jobs. Di ba? Kasi wala, oh. This is a real time. Every Tuesday at 11 a.m., we conduct circle meetings. So it's different CEOs working with fellow CEOs. And we have existing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 CEO circles happening simultaneously. I have my circle, Chris has her circle, si RD and Stacey, si BK. We have all men na businessmen circles. We have all women na business circles. And we also have couples. So you get to be mentored by BK and I, the phenoms. Yan. So if you're couple, join kayo, di ba? Kay BK and I and kay RD and Stacey. Tapos our latest circle multiplier, si Stephen, he's here, I believe. Yan. And then si Frank, mga CEO yan, di ba? Si Jobs, paulit-ulit ako, hindi na nga nag-update, hindi pa nag-circle. Si Chris daw, Sabado. Ayan, Sabado daw siya. So to be fair with Chris. Ayan. So there, di ba? And then we reward yung may highest attendance for the week. So nakita natin si Jen at si Chris, they have the highest attendance in their circle. And we want to keep it small. You know, the more CEOs we have, we want to make it more engaging. So we birth new circles. Every time na nagiging 6 na ang members, we birth it into 2 to give empowerment for other CEOs at the same time mabilis yung conversation. So there, walang excuse sa akin yon. Di ba? Ayan. Moving on, di ba? Hinihintay ko lang naman mag-chat ng ganyan para ma-move on na ako. But yeah, okay, so there. Just to give you an image in your head you can carry. So ganito siya. Okay, so you start with measurement. Next, after being clear on the goal, you do the day-to-day mentoring or manpower coaching. And then, hindi natatapos doon. Kasi ito yung naging problema namin eh. You know, may measurement, may coaching, tapos nun, pag hindi na-hit yung target, sige, bawi kami next time. Okay? Now, we need to reinforce the management system. There has to be a mechanism that holds people accountable. This is the critical 5%. Okay? So, with the management system, it reinforces the goal. So, it's a flywheel. Yan. So, measure, coach, and then bilangan tayo. Regularly, at least once a week, ideally, ang pagbibilang. So, there. So, in closing, yan, closing na ako and then I'll give the floor for those who want to share their insights. Power by session, parang feeling ko, galit na naman kayo sa akin eh. Diba? Buti na lang nandito ako sa malayong lugar. Anyway, so in closing, our focus for this month is execution. Yan ang theme natin. And we talk about one of the values here at CEOInsight Asia ecosystem is world-class principles. Okay? So yun yung gusto natin. Yung mga principle na hindi, hindi pitchy-pitchy lang. You know, we want to infuse the people or the CEOs and leaders in our circle with world-class principles. And that's how we change the ballgame. So, let's be clear. Just in summary, the first step is to create alignment, which is clarity on the goals. Dapat, if you're a CEO and you have 10 direct reports, yung 10 na yun, malinaw pa sa liwanag ng araw kung ano yung goal nila. And nothing is more clearer than a number. Okay, so there has to be a number. Pagka sinabi natin, improve the performance of my department, wala, good luck doon. Kasi walang number eh. Paano mo nasabing nag-improve yung performance ng department? It should be in VNT format. So alignment creates clarity. And then the second is agreement. Diba? There has to be an agreement, and agreement is there's a sense of commitment. Diba? Nag-agree tayo. Ayaw natin na we don't want to be an excuse kaya hindi nag-execute. Ay, hindi ko alam kung anong goal ko eh. We don't want that. But something that we don't like even more is nung naniningil tayo, people would say, actually, malinaw naman yung goal ko eh. Pero hindi naman ako nagsang-ayon doon. Ikaw lang may gusto na ito eh. Mahirap yun, no? So there has to be an agreement. Okay? Because a commitment creates ownership. And in execution, your word is your bond. That's why I commit. This is what I do. My practice is, I commit kung kaya ko. Pag hindi ko kaya, I say no. Diba? Kasi it's better to say no now than in the middle of the game, nagkakasunog-sunog na, tapos sasabihin natin, actually, hindi ko naman talaga gusto eh. And that's why when I'm having conversations with people, agree? Malinaw to, okay sa'yo, walang problema kung ayaw mo. Kasi mas gugustuhin kung tumanggi ka na ngayon, kaysa sa gitna ng laro, biglang sasabihin mo, hindi ko talaga gusto to. Diba? Mas masakit sa ulo yun. And Filipinos, ganyan eh. Yung hiya, yung parang hindi straight to the point, parang, try ko, sabihin mo na. Para hindi tayo nag-expect. So let's be clear. It's a yes or a no. And so we can move on. Right? Let's not take offense. Kasi mas offensive yun eh. Na parang hindi tayo magbibigay ng yes or no sa umpisa. Tapos pagka nagka-problema, biglang sasabihin, hindi ko naman talaga gusto to eh. Mas offensive yon. Yes? Imagine gawin sa inyo. Diba? How would you feel? Hindi nag-commit ng maayos. Tapos sa gitna ng laro, biglang sabihin, hindi ko talaga gusto to. Sana sinabi mo, isa pala. Anyway, so let's not hide behind that kind of culture, the Filipino mindset na nahihiya kasi kung maghindi eh. Diba? We're not doing anyone a service by being like that. Diba? It benefits everyone when we say, no, I can't do it. Okay. Diba? Or I can do it. Okay. So that's agreement, right? And last but not the least is accountability. Diba? When we say accountability, bilangan tayo. Kasi sinabi mo gagawin mo ng gantong oras at gantong araw, we expect. And we will check it. Diba? We inspect what we expect. When I say we do this every Friday at 10 a.m., kahit 2:00 na ako nakatulog, galing ako sa matinding session kahapon and mas matinding session the day before, because we said we're going to do this, then we're going to do this. You can expect me to be here. Unless na lang na hindi talaga, ibig sabihin, hospital ako nun or something. And vice versa. That's the kind of commitment we want to model so that when we account to our team, hindi nila pwedeng sabihin, ikaw nga sir eh, ikaw nga ma'am eh. Diba? Nagsabi ka ng ganito, hindi mo ginawa. Diba? So we model the behavior we expect to see from our teams. Because the team is, please complete that sentence, the team is, yes, who the leader is. All right. Okay, so ito yung sinasabi natin sa executive advisory natin, the AAA. May alignment tayo. Without alignment, execution won't happen. Without agreement, alignment doesn't matter. And without accountability, nothing else matters. So alignment, agreement, and accountability, AAA. So Tuesday, we were very privileged to be invited, or we invited ourselves to visit Steve C. of Great Deals, the e-commerce king, digital enabler. And if you don't know him and you're in e-commerce, hindi ko alam kung saan kang kuweba nagtago, no? So we had that opportunity. Thank you kay BK and kay Ma'am Ayen. Ma'am Chris was there, and we had that conversation with ayan, no? So that's diba, yung bilyonaryo, yung isang bilyonaryo at yung mukhang bilyonaryo. Ayan. There we go. So we had a 2-hour meeting with him, and Steve, thank you so much. Shout out to Great Deals. And then I asked him, sabi ko sa kanya, since the theme of CEOInsight Asia is execution this month, what's your take on execution? How would you define it? And how important is it for you? And then he looked at me like parang I'm some kind of weird alien na parang, anong pinagsasabi nito? Parang ganon, no? And I realized na kaya siya ganon kasi execution is so normal for him. Na parang, really pinag-uusapan ba natin to? Diba? So parang I clarified, no. Kasi for us, it's normal. But for others, it's not eh. So what's your definition of execution? And then ito yung sinabi niya. Sabi niya, execution is acting on the plan. Plain and simple. It is what separates, pakitype kung ano yung red, highlighted, and underlined word. It is what separates winners from losers. It's acting on the plan. Madaling magplano, maraming magaling magplano. Pero without action and acting on the plan, wala, drawing lang tayo. Architect lang tayo. Parang yung kakilala kong architect. Diba? Namamaya naman nandun. Tama ba? Tama ba, architect, Mr. Architect? Alam niya kung sino siya. Okay? So, that's it. Okay? Execution is acting on the plan. Madaling magplano. Diba? Mas mahirap yung ideas are cheap. Execution. Diba? It's everything.